Hello and welcome back to the Lutheran Witness Podcast. I'm your host, Roy Askins. Here on the Lutheran Witness Podcast, we share for you the content from the Lutheran Witness website. That's witness.lcms.org. We want to give a huge shout out to our podcast partners, KFUO. They are a radio program here in St. Louis, but they also broadcast all over the world. To listen to their work, visit kfuo.org. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere, kfuo.org. A huge thank you for their support of the Lutheran Witness Podcast. We're doing something special in the month of March here, and we're going to be reading all the articles and content in the March issue of the Lutheran Witness. If you enjoy this, the best way you can support this work and make sure it continues is to get a subscription. You can subscribe at cph.org/witness. Current subscriptions are $19.99 for an entire year's worth of magazines. You can't beat this price anywhere. That's 11 issues of the Lutheran Witness for $19.99. Check it out today, cph.org/witness. Today we're going to read the Snippets. These are on page 6 and 7 of the Lutheran Witness. The Snippets are written simply to keep you informed and to provide a small little bit of commentary on major news going around the world today. So these, we actually have two sections of the Snippets. You have the Around the LCMS. Those are snippets that relate to our life together as the people of God here in the U.S. And then we have General News, which is more news from around the world. So, beginning with Around the LCMS on page 6. The 2023 LCMS convention season is in full swing. Congregations should keep in mind a number of important deadlines. Overtures and reports to convention are due March 11th. Nominations for president and vice president closed on February 28th, but registration for those voting for Senate is due by March 19. The election conducted by Yes Elections will take place by electronic ballot via the Internet, June 17 through 20, with runoff elections to follow as required. Set apart to serve, the LCMS initiative to recruit church workers has expanded its efforts. SAS has launched a second phase which seeks to encourage church work as a potential second career path for adults. This second phase has the potential to yield immediate results as the LCMS seeks to fill these vital roles. For example, last year, LCMS congregations requested around 450 commissioned teachers, only 98 of which could be filled. So there's definitely, this is me commenting now, definitely a need for second career church workers, especially teachers. This is a great time to consider this. So keep an eye out for Set Apart to Serve. We'll, of course, continue to report on it here in the Lutheran Witness, but also visit reporter.lcms.org for more. LCMS servant events are opportunities for LCMS youth to serve others. Sometimes this means building and maintaining an LCMS campground for youth programs. It may also include assisting the elderly with home maintenance or repair. There are various types of opportunities to serve. To learn more about what opportunities are available or to sign up for an event or register to host an event, visit lcms-servantevents.org. Now, once again, this is me adding a little bit more here. This is a really wonderful opportunity where congregations can sign up to have LCMS youth come out and do servant events at their congregations all over the U.S. So do check this out, lcms-servantevents.org, and see if either your youth would like to go to one of these events or you'd like to schedule something at your congregation where these youth can come and use their skills and abilities to serve those in your community. All right, continuing on with the snippets. In 2015, the LCMS Minnesota South District passed a resolution to enhance Christian education in the district. Thus began To All Generations, a fundraising and grant distribution program. Last year, these grants supported a wide variety of projects, including a family and consumer science program at Trinity Lutheran School, Waconia, Minnesota, a program to teach and distribute materials in Spanish at Martin Lutheran High School in Northrop, Minnesota, and opportunities to raise visibility of Hope Lutheran School, Winona, Minnesota, and much more. Now, Lynn Lutheran School is an association school in Lynn, Kansas. In 2007, the school established an endowment fund. Last November, the Lynn Lutheran School Endowment Fund auctioned fundraiser raised $273,281.94 for the fund. The endowment now funds almost a quarter of the school's annual budget. We give thanks to God for the generosity of this local community and their desire to support the education of their children. This is me speaking again, adding a few notes here. I included this simply as an encouragement for those of us who have churches and schools, and as we look to the expense of this, as a word of encouragement as we look at how do we pay for these teachers, how do we pay for what the schools need in order to educate our children. This was an amazing fundraiser done from the commitment of this community, from the generosity of these Christians, these Lutherans gathered in this place that want to ensure that their children are educated. As we have, especially Dr. Kuntz writing about Lutheran education all throughout this issue, this is something we should be dedicated to wholly and completely. Praise the Lord for his great generosity to Lynn Lutheran School and that work there. All right, continuing on. Did you know that the LCMS has produced a series of instructional video modules about the Synod? The series, which is called Life Together as Synod, covers topics such as the confessional position of Synod, the history of the LCMS, how the Synod relates to districts, and what it means for the Synod to be advisory. To view all these learning modules and more, visit resources.lcms.org/life-together-as-synod-video-series. I'm actually going to link that in the show notes below because that was kind of confusing. So anyways, great series of videos. And then finally, the last snippet in Around the LCMS. Do you enjoy hearing about missionary work abroad? Consider subscribing to 5 Minutes with a Missionary, a podcast of the LCMS Office of International Mission. In the first episode of Season 5, the Reverend Quentin and Lindsay Cundiff talk with their son Carter about attending an international school in Riga, Latvia. Other episodes discuss missionary life in Taiwan, Puerto Rico, Republic of Congo, and many more places. Visit kfuo.org to learn more, and I'll, of course, link directly to this in the show notes, or subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So that's the LCMS news. Here's some general news from around the world that might be worth being aware of. Members of the British Parliament are openly discussing ways to bring the Church of England into line with the country's stance on homosexual marriage. Up to this point, the Church of England has firmly refused to permit Anglican priests to perform same-sex marriages, while at the same time considering a provision allowing priests to bless same-sex unions. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, shocked the government officials when he told them that he would rather see the Church of England disestablished than risk the fracture with the conservative groups in the global Anglican Church. Now, here's an update also. The Church of England did, in fact, vote to allow Anglican clergy to bless same-sex unions, and they have since been chastised for this by the conservative bishops. I believe they're particularly in Africa, for allowing this. So we'll continue to track this and share with you what happens here as the Church of England capitulates to pressures from the society around them. All right, continuing on. In 2016, China ended its one-child policy, allowing families to have up to 3 children. Birth rates, however, have continued to plummet, sparking fears of a demographic crisis. For the first time since 1960, the Chinese population declined last year. In response, the Sichuan province is now removing any limits on the number of children in a family. In fact, local authorities have already begun implementing measures to encourage couples to have more children. In the face of severe political pressure from China, the Speaker of Taiwan's parliament, Yu Si-kun, called out China and President Xi Jinping for religious persecution. Yu noted the increase in 2014, which included the removal of crosses and the confiscation of Bibles. He also praised Taiwan's record of defending and protecting religious freedom. On the same day he made his remarks, China sent military airplanes and warships in a show of force against Taiwan. Please pray for the China Evangelical Lutheran Church, our partner church in Taiwan, and all who live in the area, that peace would prevail, that the gospel might go forth into all the world. As a personal note here, I lived in Taiwan for a couple of years and supported the work there and saw all the work that was going on there. It's a wonderful place, and of course, our partner church, the China Evangelical Lutheran Church, is starting a seminary there in Chiayi, Taiwan. You can learn more about this by visiting the international website, international.lcms.org, and there you can learn more about all the work going on over in Taiwan. All right, continuing on. Psychedelic religious groups are on the rise. Tea made from the ayahuasca root has psychedelic qualities, and users report seeing vivid hallucinations and what they perceive to be visits from dead relatives. While the chemical compounds that give ayahuasca root its psychedelic qualities are illegal in the U.S., some users have bypassed the law by forming churches and declaring that the tea serves as a religious sacrament. Users have claimed that the drug bestows spiritual benefits, and they use religious language to discuss these benefits. Western culture's full-scale makeover of Satan has continued to grow. The 2023 Grammys, an award ceremony for the music industry, included a Satan-themed performance that glorified a variety of deviant behaviors. In April of this year, the Satanic Temple, a non-theistic political organization, will host SatanCon 2023 in Boston. While Martin Luther advocated that Christians mock Satan, we do not treat him as a joke, but take seriously scriptural warnings such as 1 Peter 5:8. Lutheran parents should warn their children and teach of the dangers of Satanism, even secular Satanism. Finally, may God give us courage to witness to those trapped in these lies. And then finally, this January, the U.S. District Court for the District of Oregon dismissed Hunter v. U.S. Department of Education. The case sought to prevent private religious universities and colleges from receiving federal financial aid. This would have included tuition grants, student loans, and any other federal financial assistance. In its dismissal of the case, the court noted that religious schools view the task of inculcating the faith in their children as a fundamental responsibility of the institution and should not be punished for these sincerely held beliefs. Well, that's the snippets from the March 2023 issue of the Lutheran Witness. Once again, if you enjoyed this and you found this helpful, please make sure you subscribe to the Lutheran Witness. You can do that by visiting cph.org/witness. $19.99 for 11 issues. All throughout the year. The June-July issue is combined. That's the best way you can support us and make sure that we're able to continue to give you this great news and this great Lutheran teaching on what it means to be a Lutheran, because that's what we're all about here at the Lutheran Witness, helping you interpret the world from a Lutheran perspective.